Now, I start off the shop day, and I'm pretty impressed. I really like the way this came out after the third coat of Yama Yellow. And I've got to start thinking about the stickers. So what I did is I took all of the things I had in my drawer over the years, and there's probably 100 or so, sheets of decals, sheets that John Pothier and among other people, that Joe Roselli and I think Turbo Steve made some of these up. We made some of them for these previous restorations that are all on our channel, and some for Joe Roselli, and we made some custom ones. But what I tried to do is get a little organized, because John and I are going to spend the day trying to lay out the decaling that's going to be on this job. And it's not as easy as you think it is. There's going to be some special ones and ones that I haven't even figured out yet. But the first thing I have to do is pull off all the backmasking. So next step here is Turbo Steve is on his way over here right now, but I got something I want to share before he gets here. Now this is really, really useful information. This really works. Don't think this doesn't take, you got to figure this out ahead of time. This is one of the things that took me a long time to learn. I would buy cans 5 at a time. Sometimes Turbo Steve would buy some. And when I'd get to the end of the can, maybe there's, you know, an ounce left in here, I'd be spraying. It would be coming out, it would just be terrible. Well, what I did, and I did this, I never put this on video, so I don't know why I didn't, but just, I dropped the spray gun. But here, this is a good tip, and this is one of the things when you see it, you think, well, why didn't I think of that? Well, here's some new ones. I always leave the new ones with the cap, and this one spits, so I left that on there, which some of them do. But never use the whole can of primer. Use it down to where there's about an ounce when you're doing one of your projects. Use another one down, but save all these cans that have a little bit left. The reason is I have a non-motorcycle airplane project here. I have to put a railing in the house. You know, Karen has requested a special railing so she could get a better grip coming in, up and down a cellar. So what I did, I bought the railing, and now I can use up this primer. And it won't matter if it spits on a railing, but it's going to matter if it spits on a motorcycle, and you level something you got to deal with. But that's a good tip. That is a good tip. So it looks like a decent enough day, and we're going to use up all those cans of primer on this piece of railing. Obviously paint it before it goes up in the house. We're going to have just a little bit in them, where if I was spraying a gas tank or a fender or something, I'd be annoyed. But on this, see how at the end of it, it doesn't spray consistently? Well, a lot of times that ruins your project, or it makes it annoying anyway. But on this railing, I don't care. On these kind of jobs, I'll just use up, and probably I'll have, that's the end of this. At the end, watch how inconsistent, it doesn't come out real nice. But for this, and once I use up all of them, I guess I'll have to use a legitimate can. But they all have maybe an ounce left in them. And I wanted to, of course, give this at least 3 coats of primer, because it's wood. Sand it a little bit. Put some white on. Another one. Comes down to the nitty-gritty here. But anyway, I just thought that's a tip that's definitely worth it. It'll dry up in either late today or after Steve is done with his project, or tomorrow. He'll be ready for another light sanding and just paint it white. And we've used up basically 5 cans that had about an ounce in each one. That really is a good tip. Always use the beginning of the can and leave that. As soon as it starts spitting and dying, of course what happens, the reality is it runs out of air pressure, and at the end it's like the paint's just falling out and it doesn't lay out nice. Again, it's a good tip. Well, I'm waiting for Turbo Steve to get here. This is a day I wait for the whole project. I want to see this laid out as nice as I can. Our railing is out there drying. And before this day's out, I hope we can see what this is going to look like. All the backmasking removed. There'll be no tape on it. And we'll be really careful pulling this up. I don't want to have anything, not right now, I don't want anything to go wrong. Now, any little spots that the tin foil leaves from time to time, you'll see a little black spot. I think that's an overspray. I can just touch them up. That's part of, and I'll show any ones that I have to touch up based on what they are. This is someplace where the tape didn't stick all the way down. My fault, but this is good that, well, good that we share this information. That's because like I said, you never have these problems if you never paid a motorcycle. In the real world, the world where I paint, the paint is always, you always have an adversarial relationship with it. So now, once I have this off, the whole trick is, then I've got to decide, because it's the first time I will have ever seen it in real life, I got to do two things. I got to confirm that I don't want to add another stripe or a star or a, who knows what, a gefilte fish. And this, by the way, it looks real good. This little spot to touch up will not be a big deal. And then once I see it and get all the parts together, then the last thing is going to be to get with John and get whatever we're going to do, badging and stenciling, worked out. Now, here I'm just seeing down here. Good thing we can, let me get a little piece of 600. There's a little spot where the tin foil left a little. I just dusted off. That's done. That's gone. Up here, I don't know if this is going to come off. If it doesn't, I'll have to airbrush in some white if I go through. But again, this is, if I do, I do. In fact, I'm going to have white in the gun to paint that railing, so I don't even know why I'm worried about this. But anyway, we'll obviously go over the whole part. Once I get all the tape off of this, it'll be pretty redundant. We get all the tape off. We get Steve's decals laid out, and then the whole point of this is I have a sequence in my mind of how I do it. Not everybody does it that way. Some people paint the whole bike at once. Some people do it a lot quicker than me, some people a lot better, but I have what I do, and what I do is what I try to share. So we have a couple of things to be touched up yet. If you notice down here, as much as I fixed this from the back and C8'd it, this part is probably so oil soaked that it never really, and it cracked again. So I'm going to show what I think is the absolute nuclear option of fixing this, because I would not have really even given this much thought, because I have to down here where the tape bled, and that's my fault, of course, and that's why nobody that does this, you're not perfect at it, believe me. And there's a little spot here, looks like maybe it had an issue. So I'm going to have to check this, because I think what happened here, this is the bottom of the part, this got oil soaked and the CA didn't really get a good grip on it, but there is a nuclear option and I will show it. Looks like the tape edges on this are exceptional. These are the cleanest tape edges I've had. Maybe that airbrush is the reason why. The yellow that I tried to do with a very low impact spraying, and boy, am I glad I put that third coat on. When you stand back from this part, that is going to be, I think it's going to be spectacular. But again, all in the eye of the beholder anyway. But we have a little spot up here that I can touch up with a brush. And I'm looking around, This is what you do. This is what I do every time I do one step on a project. And this little crack down here that's actually by the kickstand, you'd never even see this. But I want to fix this, and I have it, or what I call a nuclear option. We'll see if it works on this. as well as it has in the past. But before I do those repairs, I want to get the rest of this tape off. And again, I don't know what time Turbo Steve's going to arrive, but it won't matter if he interrupts me. We just want to get this. I want to see how this is going to look. I get itchy to see this in one piece. And that's the whole key, I think, to any of these successful things. You've got to, every step of the way, pick away, find little mistakes. Even right after the first couple of coats of clear, any touch-ups, and then you put that final clear on and seal it in. Now this panel has basically no touch-ups. I haven't found a single, well, I'm going to pick away at it though. But right now, wow, I just couldn't be happier the way this overall look and the look of my concept sketch. I can't wait to put this all together in one piece and look at the bike. Yeah, that really, no matter what angle I look at it from, that really, when that whole bike is put together, I think that's really going to look nice. And I've got, because I didn't know, see, I changed the amount of yellow, and I didn't know if I was going to like that relative to the concept sketch. I think I like this even better. But that's the whole idea too, is as you're going along, you massage things. Whether you're doing Turbo Steve's project or this one, you see what you like, you don't like. For instance, what we're going to be doing in the next 3 or 4 days, laying out fake decals and seeing where we want to put that on that. Do you want an angle? And this is what I have good friend John Pothier helping me with, and then we'll do it on the computer, finalize it, and he'll print the decals out there, and we'll show how we install them. Of course, the advantage of having decals instead of stickers, if you do use them, and we may use both, I don't know, but the advantage is you can bury them in clear and you don't feel that edge. And when we're done with this, you'll be able to run your hand right over that. You will not feel anything. And I really like the way the bottom stripe accents that stripe. It's going to be an interesting paint job when it's all put together. And it really does have that Yamaha 70s, 80s, well, I don't know, whatever year you pick. The racing two-strokes and Kenny Roberts and whatnot. Of course, the seat is no different. It's just going to be a little more tape. Do it slowly. Keep plenty of heat on it. It gets kind of redundant at some point in time, but boy, when you can see this in real life, this really does start to look nice. And all the while we're doing this, our railing's drying. Now I see I have a little area there where the paint might have gone underneath the tape. That's normal. I don't even count that as being something I got to worry about, because basically we painted a lot of motorcycles and they never really go as smooth as you think they should. But with all the tricks I've tried, and by the number 11 X-Acto blade, the tricks I've tried to share, they seem to make it as good as you possibly can do it, unless you have access to a very expensive body shop or really expensive equipment. I mean, we have $9 spray guns, and I don't know what to say. Sometimes people don't believe me when I tell them, yeah, I don't have any of that expensive stuff. I wish I did. And by the way, feel free. If you want to do a GoFundMe and buy me a $1,500 spray gun, I will accept it with cheers, you know, but I don't think you really need it. But anyway, I may as well get the rest of this done off camera. I'm sure you're bored by now. I'm bored. So if I'm bored, how bored can you be? Anyway, Karen's still up there baking another batch of cookies, and my God, this time of year it's hard to work down here. And I do want to get Turbo Steve's decals on when he gets here, if he gets here. You never know, he gets diverted. I think he stops at the Go-Go bar or something, I'm not sure. never quite sure about his arrival times being on time, but this is funny. The bike we went to look at yesterday, and the deal didn't work out with Luciano. We're going to go get it 3 days from now. Apparently Luciano and him arrived at a very mafia-like price. And the problem is we're going to have to disassemble a bike to bring it up to his house. So that may make a really funny video a couple days from now.
Yeah, I am really happy with that little curl at the end of the stripe. I'm glad Steve agrees. He's got a good sense of artistic talent. Anyway, the only thing left here is the tank. And I will really be happy if I get that all done today and get Steve's decals on and hope for some good weather tomorrow.
And Steve had some stuff that he had to take care of. He decided to make it tomorrow, which is fine, of course. But another good reason for doing this in the winter. Time and you miss a day, you miss 2 days, or whatever. You're not under the gun like you are if you're doing this during the riding season. But anyway, come to think of it, we haven't ridden in so long. But I didn't forget how to ride. If I did, I'll just have to ask Luciano for a riding lesson. All right. Oh man, this is just exceeding my wildest dream. I can't believe this. And it looks like, well, it's late in the day already. It looks like I'm going to get this done today because Steve is not coming today. I'll put the rest of the time into this and maybe even get that railing in white. Wow. Whenever I have one of these good days, and of course the best part of the whole day is I know there's an oven full of cookies up there somewhere. I can smell them.
So I found a great way to lose weight over the holiday season. You stop eating healthy food, don't eat any salad, and just come over to Grandpa Wendy's and have cookies every day for lunch, for supper, for breakfast, and I guarantee you, you will not lose weight. So we got all the tape off today with a relative success, but what needs to happen now is we need to have a touch-up day and probably more than one day of laying out decals, and then I want to show on one of the future videos. It's just this is going to be a time-consuming thing, but I want to take care of it, even though I know that's going to come back to haunt me if I don't do it. And it's a good chance, because we're in no rush, I can share how I've done that in the past, and it's worked pretty well. But I want to get the paint on that railing if I can today. It's still a little light out there. So I got the backmasking done. I got her railing. May even put a coat of clear on that. I don't know yet. Looks pretty good from here. It's a railing. It's not a motorcycle. So I hope you enjoyed the video and our little tips that we try to pass on. And thanks for watching.